I do have a prepared statement, and then I'll take some questions. My name is Erin. I'm the Interim Utilities Director for the City of Columbia. So the storm on Easter Sunday brought with it an EF1 tornado, wielding destruction on our solid waste material recovery facility behind me. All our employees are safe. No one was injured. So that's truly something for us to be thankful for. The damage from the storm included more than 20 transmission poles, destruction of the material recovery facility, and all the power and communication lines for the solid waste and biogas energy plant facilities. 4,000 customers were without power. The electric utility worked all night on Sunday night and to Monday morning and restored power to a majority of those customers. They worked to get power to the landfill scale house over there by mid-morning on Monday so that the solid waste utility could pick up all residential and commercial trash this week. We've had mutual aid crews and emergency contractor crews working since Monday to restore power. Power was restored to the remaining solid waste and biogas energy plant buildings Tuesday night, and communications were restored Wednesday at noon. Power's been restored to all residential customers as of 3:48 yesterday, Wednesday. We continue to have 5 emergency contractor crews and available city crews working to restore the transmission line and the remaining commercial customers as quickly as possible. Utilities received assistance from multiple city departments to get through the first few days of this disaster, and it's truly been a team effort. We've accomplished our goals so far. Pick up residential and commercial trash without disruption. Restore power and communications to all solid waste operations. Restore power to all residential customers as quickly as possible, and keep all employees working through this, and then assess the damage. So now, with the power and communications restored and an opportunity to look at the damage and explore our options, we can move forward with the next steps. We appreciate the customers that had patience and allowed us the grace to move at our pace. I know how difficult uncertainty can be. That's how we came to realize that our best course of action is to keep everything as normal as possible. Recycling is important to our community, and once you have that habit of recycling an aluminum can or a cardboard box, it almost seems painful not to do so. So we want our community to continue its habit of recycling while we evaluate the most efficient and cost-effective ways to manage the recycled material. So beginning Monday, April 28th, solid waste will run its regularly scheduled recycling routes. However, until other diversion arrangements can be made, that material will go directly to the landfill. But keeping everything as scheduled will allow solid waste to pivot quickly when we have an opportunity to divert recycled material from the landfill. We're exploring all those alternatives now, and we'll be sure to update the community with each opportunity to process and sell our recycled materials. So, the green route will have their recycling collected as scheduled next week. The recycling drop-offs will remain closed until further notice. And then, as a reminder, all trash and garbage must be in the customer's roll cart. Crews will not pick up garbage bags left on the curb. They'll only pick up recycling left on the curb. So as the city continues working to find solutions for diversion, we ask that customers place glass containers in the garbage. Glass is a contaminant that negatively impacts all of our other recyclable materials, and it renders them unusable. So please place glass in the garbage. Commercial customers with recycling collection should continue separating recycling material from refuse, and those collections will continue to run as scheduled. I'm really proud of how our solid waste staff have been flexible this week. We have about 20 employees whose job duties immediately changed Sunday night. I know uncertainty is difficult. The damage to the MRF has impacted not only the physical workplace, but a sense of routine and stability for some of our employees. So employee well-being is a top priority. The city is actively working to identify alternative employment opportunities within the city for those affected. We'll be sitting down with those affected employees in the coming week to align their skill and abilities with the opportunities that we have available. But we hope to keep as many as we can active with the solid waste utility. So those are the near-term goals. Collect recycling, support our employees, and explore alternative avenues and methods for processing and selling recycled materials. And then demolition and recovery activities of the destroyed facility. Those are the near-term goals. Our long-term goals are evaluating the recycling program, including moving forward with automated recycling, and then potentially financing, designing, and constructing a new material recovery facility. These long-term goals will require engagement with the community and City Council in the weeks and months to come. We are handling this disaster for our community as efficiently as possible. I'm thankful for all the hard work of the employees that made it possible for us to pick up trash this week. I look forward to staff collecting curbside trash and recycling next week and working towards recovery from this disaster. So with that, I'll answer questions, or attempt to answer questions.
Erin, could you remind us of who the mutual aid municipalities are helping out, and then the emergency contractor?
So the emergency contractor is Power Electric. The city already had a contract with them. And then on Monday, I believe we had a crew from Macon and a crew from Rolla that helped out.
Erin, I was going to ask you about the press release this morning saying we are restarting recycling collection on Monday.
Yes.
Okay, so what's going to happen is people will put out their recyclables on the curb, but they're going to end up in the landfill anyway.
Correct.
Maybe explain why people shouldn't just put them in their garbage can.
Sure, and if they want to put them in their garbage can, they can. But like I said, we want to keep people in that habit of recycling, so that as we find opportunities, as we to do something with that material, then we can go ahead and recycle it, and it's not going to the landfill. And that way we're not having to change constantly. I know that's one of the things that's been an issue in the past is, well, this week we're recycling and next week we're not. And I'm sorry that we had to cancel this week's, but I think by keeping things in a habit and constant, then that provides a lot more security, not only for our employees, but for the public. So trying to go for that consistent message. But yeah, unfortunately for a period of time, it'll go into the landfill, but we're hoping we can, whether it's start back up some of our own operations in some temporary manner, or work with another vendor to do to process some of the recycling and accept some of the recycling. So those are our hopes. We're still exploring those alternatives.
And what are some of the alternatives for short term before you rebuild here? What can you do, and how can you sell this recyclables? Are you talking about maybe selling them to a different nearby city, or?
Right, so there's operations in Jeff City and Kansas City and St. Louis, so it's working with and talking to those different companies to see if it makes financial sense for us to truck materials there and allow them to process it. But those are the things that are our next steps for us to work on.
And Erin, I've heard several different timelines. Is 3 years correct? I've heard that before we get a new one up and running.
Right, and that's what we have yet to figure out. So demolition of this is first. Getting the superstructure off the equipment that's in there. Maybe we can use some of that equipment, maybe not. We don't know. So first step is demolishing it and then seeing what we have available to work with, and then we'll know more. But we do have a report of a new MRF facility anyway, and so it's taking a fresh look at that report and evaluating, okay, is one of those options still feasible?
But
and then moving forward and talking with council and seeing if they want to move forward with a new facility or a rebuilt facility.
but it could take 3 years.
It could, yes. But we're hoping to do something in the meantime, and those are some of the options we're exploring. Whether it's, maybe find another warehouse somewhere and renting equipment or leasing equipment or buying equipment, that we could still do recycling work. But yeah, still lots to look at.
With the new idea for a new recycling facility, do you anticipate a recycling fee to change for residents?
I don't know. That's part of the financing that we would have to explore. The facility is covered by insurance. I don't know what that amount's going to be, and so that'll be part of the next steps, is to see how much money we recover from insurance, and then how much money the utility has to put into it, and then what we would need through some other sort of financing.
What other alternative options are being considered in terms of the Boone County recycling program that is expected when it comes to things like drop-off sites?
Are you talking specifically? Are you talking about Boone County's recycling program?
Boone County recycling program.
I'm not real familiar with what their program is at this time, so I can't really answer that.
For residents, customers on the blue route this week that missed out on this week's recycling, what message can you give them?
That the following week, when it's the Blue Week recycling, we'll be happy to pick up whatever recycling they have.
So for the new recycling facility, are you planning to almost replace what it was, or do you think you want to improve more so this type of thing doesn't happen again?
Yes. So that's what we're trying to evaluate. What makes most sense for our customers and what they want. So that's why I say I think there's going to need to be some community engagement involved to determine, what do the customers expect from us in a recycling program, and what are they willing to pay, because there will probably be an expense to it. We just don't know what that is at this time.